Okay, welcome to the kicking analysis of the Sydney Shute Shield Grand Final here in 2018. And we see an exit here from the Warringah Rats, and it's already starting to go a little wrong for them. Let's have a look at what happened here. Okay, so first of all, the good news is that we have a couple of chasers over here who are clearly onside, so this is a good start. But what you'll actually notice here is that this kick is way too deep. It is at least 10 meters too deep, and here's exactly why. Watch this. Okay, so you'll notice here that the uni player is catching and receiving the ball, and the nearest Warringah player is here. This means that this kick is totally uncontestable. And have a look at this. There is 1, 2, 3 players well positioned for any type of kick, plus they can play great support play to the subsequent play. So have a look at what transpires. So University received the ball, time and space, look, and boof. Now the difference here is look at the low trajectory kick and watch what plays out. It is directly into space. Look at this. He is literally, the University player has literally split the gap and has also occupied some important time on the clock. He's going to allow his defensive line to actually get up there. And if you thought that this was bad, wait until you see what happens now. So the Warringah player is now forced deep into his own 22 and decides not to kick it. Not to kick it when he had time and space. And watch what result. Bam. He's totally tackled. I want you to have a look at this. He could have actually just turned right here and launched with time and ease, a nice touch finder, at least to 35 or 40 meter mark. But instead decides to run the ball out when it was clearly only 2 of his players versus already a line of, here you see it, 1, 2, 3 different players from University. This is a classic example of not getting your exit strategies right. And if you are going to exit the ball and not find touch, the kick must be contestable. Here we are again later in the game. We're watching an exit strategy here from Warringah. Inside the 22, the fly half launches it up. There's a very high exit strategy, but again, what you will notice is that there is a good 10 if not 12 meters between the receiving University player and the Warringah player. But I want to draw your attention to something else here. A kick is only as good as its chase, and in this case you need several chasers in a line. But unfortunately for Warringah, they only have this one player, and in fact the next player, the next chaser, is here, and this means opportunity for the right kind of attacking back. And University here, they are clinical in making this opportunity count. The player receives the ball and splits the gap, and they go through to go on and set up more opportunities. In this one, we learn that your kick is only as good as your chase, and you must chase in numbers as a line of defense. Okay, now we're going to have a look at some good attacking options, and here we are in the first half, and you'll see that there's a scrum, and this is inside of the University half. You'll see there's a good push on, and this sets up a great platform for a very smart move here from the offense. Now, from a set piece, it's always a great opportunity to put on a special type of attacking kick, and the main reason for that is that, as you can see here, that the fly half has plenty of time and space. Obviously, the opposition backs are restricted. They have to stand behind the scrum, so there's lots and lots of space. Very different to, say, phase ball when you've got ball in hand. Now, what's brilliant about this is you're going to see here that there's a really flat, high line speed defense, particularly from the opposite number 10. Watch this. You'll see that he's meeting him. If you think about the gain line is here. He's going to come up. And what happens is Stu Dunbar, the fly half, actually chips the ball over. Now this is a fantastic response to that high line speed that I was talking about. So let's watch What happens here? He chips over, and amazingly he's catching everybody out here and actually regains the ball and makes significant mileage. And if you have a look here, his kick has got him close to 20-meter advantage in terms of ball distance, and this is critical when defense is right up in your face showing high line speed. They'll often leave space behind the back, and this is what University exploited in this move. Now we're going to another attacking option, and this is the classic crossfield kick. Again, very wise decision because from this you can see that the forwards are roughing it out and all the backs are going to be set. So when all the backs are set, you know that they're going to be targeting the attacking backs, the inside backs. So what happens here is that the University player sees that there's an opportunity, and watch for what happens here. It's the kick across field. Now, amazingly, Warringah did not mark up on defense here because we have two University players already with an advantage here because they have only one Warringah player marking them. Now, the good news here is that the kick gets them right across the field and exploits this advantage, because if you have a look here on receipt of the ball, you can see that still in this entire space there is still a 2-on-1 situation, which is a great attacking form. Now, the kick is actually come on this kind of arc, and what we would have probably preferred is a bit deeper in here to create more trouble closer to the line. But it's still a good kick, and even better, the University players were prepared for it, because what happens here is you can see here the winger can come in, assist, protect the ball, and literally in two more phases you're going to see the opportunity this exploits. There's going to be lots of space, boom, and Lato is in for the try. This is a great example of how you can get all that width when there's a high line speed from the defense. You go with a crossfield kick. Okay, now we're going to look at some poor choices of different types of kicks, or even questioning whether there was a kick on. So here you'll see Warringah in the first half have made their way deep into University territory, split the University defense, and then watch what happens here. One of the strangest decisions you'll see here. Plenty of University defense. There's a bad pass above the head of the player. He then gathers the ball, chews up in critical time with those steps, puts a grubber through straight to the University player when they're only just meters out from the line. Now, the critical thing here, if we actually unpack what just happened here, is this kick was never on, okay? This was a ball and hand situation. Warringah had broken the defense, but they probably chose to go the wrong side of the ruck here, where there was little space and there was certainly a plethora of uni defenders. Now, watch how high this pass is. As soon as receiving this pass, the number 7 from Warringah should not have continued with the idea to kick. Look how high he has to jump. And what this means is the ball has to travel all the way down to his foot, chewing up time. Look how close the defender is actually able to get, almost within a foot of him. But it also means, importantly, there is no gap. There is no space to kick to here. He has literally been forced to kick straight to the University player. It would have been much wiser, having received that pass, not to have kicked. And if you are going to kick in this situation, you need to be able to kick into space, and there was none. So this kick was never on. Let's have a look at a play later in the game where the kick is really of absolute no gain to Warringah. So we started here, and it is a gentle box kick meets grubber kind of situation. Now, again, as we saw in earlier clips, University player is receiving the ball and there is no defender within, say, 10 meters, and as we saw previously, they are not defending and chasing in a line. So you'll see there's 2 players here who are not even in a line, so this reduces the pressure dramatically. So let's have a look what happens. Receives the ball with time and space and can dispatch it. Now, here you might think, well, that wasn't too bad, but watch all the effort that goes in. The player gets tackled, the player is breaking down, the whole setup is now into a regroup mode, and now because of the pressure on the player, there is a forward pass infringement right here. I want to remind you that this play started over here, so we have expanded all of that energy for a minus 7 meters. That kick should have been, at the beginning of the play, it should have been a contestable box kick or maybe a crossfield kick, but certainly the wrong option was taken once again by Warringah. Okay, let's go to the last clip of the series from this year's 2018 Shute Shield Grand Final, and this is just a story of bad technique. Critical moment in the game, Warringah are able to try and convert this try, and you'll see that despite a good strike, it goes a fair bit wide to the left of the goalpost, and we can actually zoom in here and actually see where it all goes wrong. And this is all about body alignment. Have a look here. Look what happens when the Warringah kicker has struck the ball. I want you to have a look at their body alignment here. He comes in, strikes, and look at that. Look at that. If we go back here, watch how far to the left he faces both hips and shoulders. Okay? So to give you an idea here, he should be aligning his body like so. That's what all the great kickers, Jonny Wilkinson, Owen Farrell, do. But yet his whole hips and shoulders are out here. And what you'll notice is that the flight of the ball is such. And this is a great lesson in making sure that after you struck the ball, the hips and the shoulders must follow through towards your target. Otherwise, the ball, as it did here, will drift off to the left. And that was the game.